I request all the senior gurus of Kuchipudi style to come, please come out and give their names so that I shall be able to allot some rows for you all. So all the senior gurus and gurus of the different pupil here, they are requested to come out please in the lounge itself by 5:30 at least. By 5 today in the evening by 5:30, please come and meet me. I will be in the corridor. Okay? Moreover, dress code. చిన్న పిల్లలైతే పంజాబీ డ్రెస్ వేసుకురండి రేపు మార్నింగ్ రిహార్సల్స్కి. పెద్దవాళ్ళైతే ఇక్కడ దాకా ప్యాంటు వేసుకోండి, హాఫ్ శారీ కట్టుకురండి. అది డ్రెస్ కోడ్. మీరు వచ్చేప్పుడు తప్పనిసరిగా అక్కడికి స్టేడియంకి వచ్చేప్పుడు మీ సామాన్లు అంటే డ్యాన్స్ డ్రెస్సులు, గజ్జలు, ఆ గజ్జలు కూడా మనం ఎంతమందికి కట్టాలి ఏది అనేది కొంచెం నిర్ణయిద్దాం. కాబట్టి గజ్జలు తెచ్చుకునే వాళ్ళంతా తెచ్చుకోండి, మేము చెప్తాం ఎవరెవరు గజ్జ కట్టచ్చో ఏం లేదనేది. అలాగే ఇప్పుడు డ్రెస్ కోడ్ చెప్పేశాను, టైం కోడ్ చెప్పేశాను. గురూస్ మన అక్కడ బయట అసెంబ్లీ అవుదాం ఈ కారిడార్లో. కాబట్టి ఇక ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ ఏం లేవు అనుకుంటున్నాను. ఏదైనా ఉంటే మనం అక్కడ మాట్లాడతాను. 5:30కి అందరూ కూడా సీనియర్ గురూస్ అండ్ గురూస్ వెదర్ దే ఆర్ 16 years old or 60 years old, they are all requested to assemble in the corridor. I will be there waiting for you.
కూచిపూట్ల ఆనంద్ గారు, చింత ఆదినారాయణ శర్మ గారు రేపు గచ్చిబౌలి స్టేడియంలో జరిగే మహాబృందనాట్యం అంశానికి సంబంధించి విద్యార్థులకు, గురువులకు అనేక అంశాలని వివరించారు. కూచిపూడి నాట్యానికి, నాట్య ప్రాచుర్యానికి ఎంతో ముఖ్యమైన వారు నాట్య గురువులు, తర్వాత కళా విమర్శకులు, ఆర్ట్ క్రిటిక్స్. మనకు గురువులు, ఆర్ట్ క్రిటిక్స్, కళా విమర్శకులు కూడా మనకిప్పుడు అందుబాటులో ఉన్నారు. నేను వారిలో కొందరిని వేదికకు ఆహ్వానిస్తాను. కూచిపూడి నాట్యాన్ని మరింత మంచి భవిష్యత్తు దిశగా నడిపించడానికి తీసుకోవలసిన చర్యలు ఏమిటి, ఇప్పుడు నాట్య స్థితిగతులు ఎలా ఉన్నాయి, ముందు ముందు ఎలాంటి కార్యాచరణ ఉంటే బాగుంటుంది అనే అంశాలని వాళ్ళు మనకు తెలియజేస్తారు. ఐ ఇన్వైట్ పద్మశ్రీ డాక్టర్ సునీల్ కొఠారీజీ. ఈయన గొప్ప కళా విమర్శకులు. ముఖ్యంగా కూచిపూడి నాట్యానికి సంబంధించి మన రాష్ట్రాన్ని దాటించి ఇతర దేశాల్లో, ఇతర రాష్ట్రాల్లో కూచిపూడి నాట్యానికి ఎంతో ప్రాచుర్యాన్ని తీసుకొచ్చిన విమర్శకులు. పద్మశ్రీ అవార్డు గ్రహీత, ఢిల్లీ నుంచి వచ్చారు. తర్వాత ఐ ఇన్వైట్ డాక్టర్ కేకే గోపాలకృష్ణ ఫ్రమ్ కేరళ. అందరూ దయచేసి మనం ఈ 3 రోజుల నాట్య సమ్మేళనంలో ప్రతి నిమిషాన్ని సరైన విధంగా ప్రయోజనాత్మకమైన రీతిలో వినియోగించుకుంటే మనకు వ్యక్తిగతంగా ఎన్నో విషయాలు తెలుసుకోవడానికి అవకాశం కలుగుతుంది. అందుకని దయచేసి ప్రశాంతంగా ఈ 40 నిమిషాలు కూడా ఈ కార్యక్రమం సాఫీగా జరిగేలా తోడ్పడవలసిందిగా మీ అందరినీ కోరుతున్నాను. డాక్టర్ కేకే గోపాలకృష్ణ ఫ్రమ్ కేరళ, డాక్టర్ శ్రీ శ్యామ్ హరిచక్ర ఫ్రమ్ భువనేశ్వర్, అవినాష్ కుషాచా ఆర్ట్ ఫోటోగ్రాఫర్, మెయిన్లీ కూచిపూడి డాన్స్కి సంబంధించిన ఫోటో డాక్యుమెంట్కు వీరు సేవ చేస్తున్నవారు అవినాష్ కుషాచా. అండ్ మాధవి పురాణం నర్తనం అనే పత్రిక మీకు అందరికీ తెలుసు. డాన్స్ భారతీయ నృత్యాలకు సంబంధించి కూచిపూడి నృత్యానికి సంబంధించి ప్రత్యేకమైన స్పెషలైజ్డ్ జర్నల్ ఇది. ఈ పత్రిక నుంచి మాధవి పురాణం గారిని వేదికకు ఆహ్వానిస్తున్నాను. తర్వాత నాట్య గురువులు పద్మభూషణ్ డాక్టర్ యామిని కృష్ణమూర్తి గారు, పద్మభూషణ్ డాక్టర్ యామిని కృష్ణమూర్తి గారిని వేదికకు ఆహ్వానిస్తున్నాను. డాక్టర్ కె ఉమారామారావు, ప్రముఖ నాట్యాచార్యులు, నాట్య కళా పరిశోధకులు డాక్టర్ కె ఉమారామారావు గారు. డాక్టర్ అలేఖ్య పుంజాల, ప్రముఖ నృత్యకారిణి, నాట్య గురువు డాక్టర్ అలేఖ్య పుంజాల గారు. శ్రీ పసుమర్తి కేశవ ప్రసాద్ గారు అఖిల భారత కూచిపూడి నాట్య కళా మండలిని స్థాపించి నాట్యాచార్యునిగా, నాట్య కళా కార్యక్రమాల నిర్వాహకునిగా సేవ చేస్తున్నవారు. వేదాంతం రాధేశ్యామ్ గారు వారి విశ్వరూపం నిన్న ప్రహ్లాద యక్షగానాన్ని తిలకించడం ద్వారా మనం ప్రత్యక్షంగా చూశాము. రాధేశ్యామ్ గారు వేదాంతం రాధేశ్యామ్ గారు వేదికకు రావాలి, వచ్చేశారు. డాక్టర్ పి అలేఖ్య గారు పర్ఫార్మింగ్ ఆర్టిస్ట్గా, స్కాలర్గా ఎంతో పేరు పొందిన డాక్టర్ అలేఖ్య గారు ఈ కార్యక్రమానికి మోడరేటర్గా ఉండి నిర్వహిస్తారు. వారిని కార్యక్రమాన్ని టేక్ఓవర్ చేయవలసిందిగా కోరుతున్నాను.
సభా సరస్వతికి నమస్కారం. వేదిక పైనున్న పెద్దలందరికీ నా హృదయపూర్వక పాదాభివందనాలు. A very good afternoon to all the youngsters and the young gurus. Many of us who are not in the group of the older generation of gurus, nor do we belong to the young generation. We are caught in between. We've been thinking for a very long time about the future of Kuchipudi and what we can do to take it further. But today I can say with a lot of satisfaction and happiness that a congregation of this kind gives a lot of confidence to us that we have nothing to fear. We have a huge, huge fan following, not only in our own country but all over the world. And here we are to take it to the future generations. What I have observed today is that we have a whole lot of youngsters who are willing to learn, to do sadhana, to take it up as a profession. But yes, we have to keep several things in mind, that all of us cannot become performers. So we have to move on to different levels to take this form further. And as we have all resolved that we should come together to see that the government takes it upon itself to introduce dance, Kuchipudi, as part of the curriculum, starting with the schools, moving on to the colleges too. That is, from KG to PG, as someone said in our discussion earlier. And as young teachers, many of us do have to remember certain rules and regulations. If we are teaching the youngsters, there are several do's and don'ts that we have to follow. First and foremost, I think we need to keep our purity standards intact. We have to see that we do not dilute the form. కూచిపూడిని మనం ఎంతవరకు మనం కాపాడుకోగలుగుతామో, దాని శుద్ధతను ఎంతవరకు మనం కాపాడుకోగలుగుతామో అది మనం దృష్టిలో పెట్టుకోవాలి. చెప్పడం అంటే మనం 100 మందికి చెప్పేస్తున్నాం, నేర్చేసుకుంటున్నారు పిల్లలు, వాళ్ళు చేసేస్తారు అనుకోకూడదు. We have to keep the purity in mind when we are teaching. So when we do that, I'm sure we'll take it forward. What we have observed today in today's world is that the other forms, which were quite far behind us, are going forward, or rather surpassing us in terms of reaching out to the people all over the world in terms of performances, presentations, documentation, so on and so forth. We have several senior people with us here today sitting on the dais, and I request each one of them to please share their views and give us an insight into their thought process as to how we can safeguard this form and also take it on par with the other forms which are enjoying the status of being known very well all over the world. They are people who have traveled across the globe, who have seen the progress made by the other dance forms, and I'm sure whatever they have to say will be the guidelines that each one of us will follow in the near future. Until we meet the next time in 2 years, we should have made great progress. We should have taken great strides towards taking Kuchipudi further. Thank you. Thank you so much. I heard Balaka is here. Can I request her to come onto the dais, please? Mrs. Bala Kondal Rao. First and foremost, can I request Madhavi Puranam to come and share her views with us?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today we were given a topic. First of all, I would like to greet everyone who have assembled out here and our respected critics, gurus, and everyone on the stage. And to begin with, one must appreciate this entire exercise. There have been various questions, various discussions, various thoughts about the utility of such an exercise. But on the whole, if one looks at it, definitely there is a lot of utility to this kind of an exercise. And now I'd like to go to the topic which was given to us, and that was the dancer and the dance critic, bridging the gap, a perspective. So firstly, I think most of you do agree that it has always been a difficult relationship between the dancer and the dance critic, rather a very uneasy kind of a relationship. Now, first of all, who is the critic? Who is a critic? A short while ago, there was a wonderful quiz conducted by Mr. Kuchipudi, a wonderful speaker, and the youngsters, I think they were marvelous. We should have given them more time and tried to absorb some of their thoughts. There were 3 points which struck me the most. One young girl, she made a point that I'm passionate about dance. I want to learn and I'll go full-fledged into it. But what about employment? And she made a fervent request to the government that it should create some employment. And there was another girl, I think she is from abroad, and she made, I learn Kuchipudi with all passion, but where do I perform? I perform at the most a couple of places she mentioned, and then she said, what next? And there was a young boy who suggested that dance should be a part of the curriculum right from KG to PG. Now the question is, and to which Mr. Kuchipudi said, that why should the government do for us? We can do it for ourselves. And yes, of course, such a big event, when we can do it ourselves, then yes, we can work on the grassroots levels, and from there on, stabilize a firm, establish a firm, create employment, and so on and so forth. So one point which comes up during this exercise is, last year or the year before also there was this convention. We got a lot of popularity to Kuchipudi. In fact, many places where we as dance critics go, Bharatanatyam is known, but they ask Kuchipudi, ye kahan ka form hai? You know, kahin Madrasi form hai? You know, they mean to say somewhere from South India it originates. Still, people don't know so much about Kuchipudi. So this has definitely served that purpose, like Kuchipudi is splashed all over the papers, everyone knows about it. But the next step, what next? What do we go, where do we go from here? So what is the work which is supposed to be done from the grassroots levels? How to strengthen the form, how to create employment, or how to make these dancers self-sufficient. Now, talking of employment, when we talk about art critics also, I don't think none of us makes any money. I don't think we can make bread and butter out of art critiquing. Now, who is an art critic? Here, as an art critic, first of all, the term critic looks a little aggressive. It doesn't sound very nice. So I personally would not like to use that. But an art critic is a lover of dance. I am a lover of dance. I have a passion for dance. I'm not a performing artist, but my love, as a spectator, I love dance. So as a person who feels for dance, as a critic, I'd like to bring to notice certain aspects which I feel can be beneficial to the form. So that is all, as far as I'm concerned, that is what I try to do as an art critic. Yes, agreed. There has to be a lot of sensitivity. There has to be a lot of empathy when you deal with reviewing, and I do keep it in my mind that I am not the know-all of the form. I'm a human being. I also do make mistakes. So keeping all these in mind, to me, the definition of an art critique is the friend of a dancer. I am a friend of the dancer and the dance form. Now, there are so many areas regarding art criticism. Now, what does a review constitute? What are we trying to assess there? What are we talking about? Is it a judgment which a critic is trying to pass? Or sometimes is the dancer not as tolerant to the suggestions made by the critic? So first of all, if we establish this relationship, if we consider that the art critic is a friend of the dance and the dance form, from there on we can take the dialogue, further. Basically, review is a part of a larger conversation which the critic tries to moderate. He is trying to point out certain very important issues which are very, very relevant to the dance form. I think I would not like to speak much when there are such experienced and senior persons. I would end with making only one point. What next after this huge exercise? I saw many hands raising. Next year or the year after the next, are we ready to celebrate such a big function? Yes, that was the response. But in between those 2 years, what is the grassroots level of work which we are going to take up? What happens to forms like Golakalap? I have never seen Golakalapam. I don't know how it looks. I have just read about it. I don't, but for Vempati Master Garu's Bhama Kalapam, I don't know any other Bhama Kalapam. I have never seen it. So what do I do? Where do I go to see them? So there are Alekhya Garu also spoke a lot about research, documentation, writing, and coming to writing, that is an important area. How many of us do really read? I think the only thing one reads is a bad criticism and take it to heart and keep it in the mind. But beyond that, there's a lot to be done for the form. So with that, I take your leave, and I would invite the next speaker, or Alekhya Garu, to take over. Thank you very much.
I now request Shri Sunil Kothari ji to come and share his valuable views with us.
Andariki namaskara. I wish I can speak in Telugu, and also I wish there is less noise and talk in the auditorium. It becomes like a Congress session or BJP session. So many people, so many things to talk, discuss, exchange addresses, go to the program, go to the marketing, shopping. But if it is too much of noise, all these people are very disturbed. We can't talk if we have so much of noise going on. Then we don't feel like talking our experiences. As Alekhya Garu said, what she had to say in Telugu, I would like to repeat it, that if we don't have silence, then it's no point being here. It's not very pleasant. We would like to see the dance then, not to talk. So if I find there is silence, I'll speak. So for 2 minutes, I give a chance to be complete silence. Thank you. When people ask about dance critique, I feel very embarrassed. There are no schools for dance critics. Where does dance critic go and learn? I think when I began to watch dance, I began to understand that one has to appreciate dance. Today I was watching Alekhya Garu showing Bhama Kalapam Patra Pravesh, but prior to the Patra Pravesh, there was a nice introduction about some beautiful description. I had not seen earlier this description, and it was Telugu, which is very beautiful Telugu. The Telugu which is Sanskritized Telugu I could follow. And if I see something like that, I want to share the joy of what I watch with my audiences. And therefore I must know Telugu, I must know Sanskrit, I must know the story of Satyabhama, and then what I watch on dance, I should be able to enjoy. As Yamini Garu said, Yamini Krishnamurti Garu said, that you must have passion for dance. My photographer friend and author Avinash Pasricha also says passion. When I see so many young children attending Uma Garu's lecture in the morning, I was completely taken aback. 2 years ago, when we were at Cupertino, when the Anand Kuchipudi Garu organized, we never had so many people listening into the hall and watching absolutely as if they are under a spell the performances, demonstrations. I did not know about the outreach program that Uma Garu is doing. I did not know that Vijay Palipartha came from Washington DC to study under her. I did not know Teja was coming, and Yamini Krishnamurti Garu, myself, Yamini's sister, we had stayed with Teja. She runs Yuva Bharati. She interviewed on television. Now if I see so many people learning, Anand Kuchipudi Garu said that, Dr. Kothari, you wait, I promise you, in next 2 years, in India, in Andhra Pradesh, in Hyderabad, you will see hundreds of people will come. I thought Anand Kuchipudi Garu is a great orator, like politician is talking, wonderful speech. I don't think it will happen, but look at this. It happened. Every hall was full of children, parents, listening to this artist who are demonstrating, performing. I have come to believe that dance critics cannot be produced by going to the college or taking a course. No. The more you see the demonstration, the way Alekhya Garu was explaining, or Yamini Krishnamurti, when Aruna Bhikshu spoke of Satyabhama and all, she demonstrated, or those who saw Yamini Garu's film, Krishna Shabdam, you enjoy, you start enjoying. And that is the only way. Look at after 6 o'clock in this audience, every seat will be filled because young people are going to dance. People want to dance. At the same time, you want to enjoy dance, you have to work more than the dancer works on the stage. You do not know how hard they work. We sit on the chair and we have the liberty to write, oh, there's some scope for improvement. Anybody can say that. Even great Bala Saraswati, if she is performing, I as a critic can sit in that chair and say, Balamma, there's still some scope for improvement. She would not disagree. But that is stupidity on my part. I must know as much as Balamma knows, or I must know as much as Yamini Krishnamurti knows, or what our great Guru Vempati Garu knows. So whatever, the critic will have to basically develop humility. He has not to be prouder than the dancer. He is a parasite. He watches it, shares it, and then shares with you. So we have to be, as a critic, very humble, full of humiliation, full of humility, and learn what they do. If you do not know Abhinay Darpanam, if you do not know the shlokas, Natyarambhe, Vari Vahe, Vane, Vastu Nishedhane, I don't think you will be able to enter into this complicated art, which is a complex art. There is music, there is color, Aharya, Vachika Abhinay, Mukhaja Abhinay, and all this Sattvika Abhinay, all this coming before us on a silver platter, free of charge. And still we are talking. We don't really pay attention to them, or we are not sincere. We have to be sincere to the artist. They work so hard. Yesterday I was watching some 20 boys and girls dancing on the stage. Despite all this which are blocking our view in the front row, the joy of their dancing touched me. I saw little girls dancing. And what beautiful way they are dancing. How do we enjoy these things? How do we write about it? How do we tell by word of mouth publicity? As you all know nowadays, not all newspapers carry the reviews anymore. In Delhi, there is total blackout. Barring the Hindu, no reviews are coming. Dancers want review. They want to see their photograph also in the newspaper. As a matter of fact, when a dancer performs, only 500 people watch. But 5 million people read what a dancer performed previous night. So it is a great responsibility on part of the critic to write very, very politely, with great humility, with great feeling and sympathy for the dancers. We don't have to be arrogant as a critic. We don't have to give advice to them. I would not dare to give advice to any dancer. I would be sympathetic to a dancer that you are dancing so beautifully. If I wrote something which has hurt you, please forgive me. I don't mean to hurt you. I want sometimes to say it would have helped me a lot to enjoy your dance if you had done this particular padam, if you had done little less of exaggerated abhinay, if you had put in more of the complicated footwork and made it balance, but not to criticize. Criticism, which is a Western concept, is not our tradition. It is a British tradition. In our tradition, it's a rasasvadan. I should have the humility to having shared the joy to share with you. Namaskara.